Hi everyone, welcome to Digest This. This is Fariha Hussain, MSND graduate student at King's College. Ever wonder what happens to that awesome lunch or snack once you swallow it? It's not just a drop into magic black hole. Your body immediately kicks off one of the longest, most important marathons you will ever run. The process of turning food into pure energy. And here is a crazy fact that food takes about 24 to 72 hours to fully process. That's up to 3 days. Today we are going behind the scene. By end of this lesson, you will understand the entire journey of your food from the moment it hits your tongue to the energy it provides your brain for the next big test. Specifically, you will be able to identify digestive organs, sequence four stages of digestion, metabolism in simple terms, and differentiate between the two main processes, catabolism and anabolism. The role of ATP and the basic process of how glucose is converted into usable energy. Connect dietary choices and exercise to their impact on both the digestive and metabolic process. Let's start with digestion. Think of your gastrointestinal tract as a giant nutrient assembly line that runs 24/7. It has four main stages: ingestion, digestion, absorption, and excretion. Ingestion, that is easy and simple, is just the act of putting food into your mouth. But right away, stage 2 begins, that is digestion. Absorption happens in small intestine, elimination occurs in large intestine. As long as digestion is concerned, digestion is basically the breakdown. First, mechanical part starts, that is, your teeth are grinding or ripping the food into smaller pieces. Simultaneously, the chemical part starts. Your saliva contains an enzyme called amylase that begins chopping up large complex starch molecules into smaller sugar. You're literally digesting your food before you even swallow. Once swallowed, the food called bolus travels down the esophagus. This tube uses a muscular wave motion called peristalsis. Peristalsis is basically to push the food downward. It is so strong you could even swallow while standing on your head. The next step is the stomach. This organ is a muscular blender. It churns and mixes the food with incredibly strong hydrochloric acid, and that is called acid bath. As you can see in picture, all food is mixed with hydrochloric acid and enzyme pepsin, and then it makes chyme. Chyme is basically the liquid or semi-solid food which goes into stomach and acid works on that. From the stomach, the chyme enters into the real superpower of the system, the small intestine. While it sounds small, it's actually about 20 feet long. That's longer than a school bus. Absorption is a main goal of whatever we eat, and absorption occurs at small intestine. The lining of small intestine is covered in tiny finger-like projections called villi that grab the nutrients like glucose and amino acid and pass them directly into your bloodstream to be delivered across the body. We cannot forget about the supporting crew or the accessory organs, which is liver, pancreas, and gallbladder. Liver produces bile to help break down fats, while gallbladder store the bile. And pancreas releases powerful enzymes which helps us in digestion a lot. And bicarbonate to neutralize the stomach acid. Since the time or the food coming from stomach is going through hydrochloric acid, so to neutralize the acidic effect, our pancreas releases bicarbonate full time. The last but not the least part of digestion is elimination or excretion. The undigested material moves from a small intestine into the large intestine, where its job is mainly to absorb excess water and package up the remaining waste, which is fiber, for removal, and that complete the assembly lines. Rectum and large intestine works in excretion of food from our body. The met, then after digestion, now we have broken down the food and absorbed the nutrients. What does the body actually do with them? And here comes the energy factory, that is metabolism. Metabolism is often misunderstood, that it's not just about how fast you burn your calories. It's all about the chemical reactions happening inside your body that keep you alive. Think of it as your body giant power grid that is constantly taking in fuel, either burning it or storing it for later use. Metabolism has two modes, catabolism and anabolism, and they are the perfect balance. Catabolism, think as cut. It means breaking down of large molecule into smaller one. And the main goal is to digest the food, to break down the biggest big molecules. And then anabolism is opposite of catabolism, that is building a complex molecule for simple ones. For example, building muscles or repair cells or store fats. For example, our body build muscle from amino acid. So after with all this process, how is energy released from the cell, or how our body release energy to do all these processes? The body energy currency is ATP. And what is ATP? ATP is a rechargeable battery with 3 phosphate group. When your body needs energy to move a muscle, it simply snaps off the third phosphate bond. Energy releases and it becomes ADP. It converts from ATP to adenosine diphosphate, and it awaits to be recharged to become ATP again. The main source of this ATP comes from the simply sugar and glucose, which you absorb in the small intestine. The first step of converting glucose into the energy is called glycolysis, which happens in the cell. This yields a little bit of ATP, but the real power comes later in the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. And here is a small video about glycolysis to better understand about glycolysis and ATP.
Glycolysis is the first step in cellular respiration, the process your body uses to produce energy. Glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell and has two main phases, the energy investment phase and the payoff phase. In the energy investment phase, the cell uses two ATP molecules, the energy investment, to activate a glucose molecule, which is eventually broken down into two smaller sugar molecules. In the payoff phase, those sugar molecules undergo multiple chemical reactions to produce 4 ATP, 2 NADH, and 2 pyruvate molecules. The ATP provides energy immediately, while the NADH and pyruvate continue on to the next step in cellular respiration. Glycolysis is
So why does all this matter to you? Because your choices affect both your digestion and metabolism every day. If you choose high fiber foods like fruits, veggies, and whole grains, you are giving your digestive tract the material it needs for smooth, efficient transport and healthy excretion. When you exercise, you're signaling to those mitochondria, the powerhouse in your cells, to ramp up their energy production. Regular exercise improve your overall metabolic efficiency, meaning your body gets better at using fuel and balancing those anabolic and catabolic process. Let's wrap up with a summary. Digestion is a process that turns a sandwich into usable nutrients. Metabolism is a process that turns those nutrients into ATP energy. It's a two-part system that keeps you alive and moving. Next time, when you choose a meal, pause and think, how is this food going to affect my digestive assembly line from ingestion through excretion and metabolism? And power my body's energy factory. Make a choice that gives your body its best fuel. Thank you.